country mug. Let's see it. Let's see it. Nice.
Yeah. Quick little drop.
Yes. Well,
Good
you've
morning.
moved. You've moved. I feel like we need a banner that says, I've moved.
Coming soon. We should have done a coming soon or we moved
Yeah.
type of scenario. So yes, I set up. We have a little media room. You guys can't see, but I have like a microphone set up. Hold on. Let me back this up. I don't know if you can see or
Yeah, we
not.
can see it.
So I have
Fancy. She's got
this.
a fancy little setup going in there.
Yeah, you don't really see it in the shot, but as long as it picks up, it's
Very
good.
cool. I love it.
So
I love it.
I
That's
do
good.
have it. I don't know here. I don't want to make too much noise. Will make too much noise. Remember our podcast? I was always worried about that in our podcast. Like, did that make noise? Did that
I
when we're
know that
shifting?
the microphones are sensitive. I know. I'm always wondering about that too.
Yeah, is it gonna make noise? Let's see.
No, it's doing good. It's good sound.
Okay.
Yeah, good little
As long
setup.
as you guys can hear me, we're
We can hear
good.
you. It's good
Good, good,
stuff.
good. So
Yeah. So,
hi.
hi. So, I feel like lately we always have some new hot topic, which I'm all about it, right? It's like, I think with Trump in office, he's what I call a visionary, an innovator, right? Like, say what you want about the guy. He is a top tier, brilliant businessman. He got where he is because he knows how to problem solve. He knows how to get around a situation and to find new solutions. And that's what a problem solver is. But visionary, I like that word because of vision. And this is gonna make sense why I'm saying this, but to me, a visionary and an innovator, they're very similar, but they are the type of person who doesn't work inside the box. It's not that they don't like the box, it's that the box doesn't always have the correct answer. The box doesn't always have what you need when you need it. So, a visionary will see a problem and will also look for solutions to that problem. And a visionary doesn't get bogged down in the details, right? Like so many people will look at the minutia and all the details of things and they'll be like, "Oh, that's not possible," or "You can't do that," or the visionaries don't do that. They look at the big picture, they look for a solution, and then they say, "Okay, how are we going to do this?" I look at Trump as that type of a person, and we talked last week about the 50-year mortgage. We went through that extensively. So if you weren't here last week, you can watch that episode. It was a really
Mhm.
good one, I think. We really dug
And we
deep
can
into
touch on
that.
that again if anybody wants to hear on it. You don't like obviously go back, watch our videos, but if you have questions, I see about four people on, say hi, come on in, chat, ask a question. That's why we're here. We can talk about the 50-year mortgage, or you can go back and watch our video. It's the innovation of what you're discussing all starts with someone having that idea. And I know you and we slightly talked about it, but look at Thomas Edison, the light bulb.
Yes.
Oh, that was crazy and
A
wild. Like, wait,
thousand tries. I'm sorry, you guys. I popped out for a second. YouTube decided to do some crazy thing. Thousand tries to get it right, you know?
mhm,
And like, so 50-year mortgage, we talked about that last week. This week, we want to focus in on this portable mortgage. As soon as I heard portable mortgage, I instantly knew what it meant without knowing anything about it. And my heart was like, yes, because we have so many people who would move and want to move, but they're like, I'm at a 3% or lower in my current mortgage. So I'm just going to stay here. And who knows if it's ever going to get back down to 3% well, it might, but it's far down the road, right? So they're just not moving, which means again, affordability for our first
mhm.
time home buyers. Some of those houses, if they would, be able to leave them and maybe they need a bigger home, they'd like a bigger home. These could be great opportunities for first time home buyers. It just opens up inventory. It would be so great if these people at the 3% rate would move, right? So that's the scenario of where we're at. That's why this idea is being kicked around, is because of the fact that there are so many people who don't want to move because they don't want to leave their rate. And you can't blame them. I'm one of them. I don't want to leave the rate either. So it's
I
like, and I
was
know the
one,
numbers.
and divorce is what got me out of that.
Yes.
Which is quite interesting. So, a little tidbit, and I kind of want to loop it back here about the moving is that I don't know if you've seen some articles come out lately. There's some chatter of first time home buyers, the age is increasing.
Oh my gosh, it's
So
so high.
I had a really good conversation with someone the other day, and we're talking about the correlation of age and
Mhm.
new steps in life, and how I hate to say that the divorce rate is up. It
It
keeps
is.
going up.
I know.
The I hear all the same time that women are exhausted, we're doing everything, we're calling it short, we're not staying for the kids anymore. That's what
'Cause
I've
it's
been
too much
hearing.
work. It's too
It's
much work when
no
you have
matter what, we're
another
doing it
child
alone.
and yeah, you don't have a partner, you have another child in some of these situations, not
It
all. Some
eh
really great men out there, and
oh, there is.
there's some women who are the crackpots, let's be real, there are. But the
It's
majority of the
crazy.
situation is women are like, I
We're
can't
just
handle
we
this plus my kids plus everything else. I need a partner." And they want a partner, and if they can't have a partner, they're like,
they'll go
"Forget about it.
unfortunately,
I'll just do
it's
it myself."
that foundation. So we're talking about the age and correlation with divorce. And I'm like, you know what? The age group for first time homebuyers has increased to like the 38-year-old, 40-year-old,
40.
41. And
And
I
it
started thinking about this. And I wanted to kind of bring it up to you, but it's fascinating how the divorce rate is up. And at the age group it's happening, it is 38, 39, 40, right around there. We're in this bracket of a 10, let's just do a 10-year bracket, 35 to
Mhm.
45. Well, as a new divorced person, you become a first time homebuyer by default, which is helpful
Yeah.
for you to go purchase homes. So it's interesting to see the correlation of the age and home buying. So with the inventory going up, because majority of the time, and I say this, there's three answers when you start getting divorced, and it's all about the house. And the questions are, what do I do with the house? And there's 3 answers. You keep it, you buy the other person out, you have to sell it, and the 3rd one is the hardest one there is to even come to a conclusion. Is it better for me to sell? I can afford it.
Mhm.
Should I afford it? So that
Right.
3rd one is kind of a smack in the face because that's even harder. Should I stay? You don't
Right.
ever want to take the kids out, but the correlation of age and first time home buyer, it was quite interesting to hear and just, like, kinda, like, bring that up and kind of problem solving through it and just see a correlation was kind of interesting. So now that we're getting into the portable mortgage, so let me loop back to the initial conversation, how important that would be in someone in the bracket of my age group, the 35 to 45,
Yeah.
when we have to sell. And that was something that was in my divorce decree that, well, actually, we made the conscious decision to sell before we finalized our divorce. So it was nice and clean. It
Yeah.
was amicable in that decision where we had that heart to heart of like, do we sell? Do we not sell? And should we sell? That was
Right.
more or less the question. And we left that 3.2% interest rate and decided to do something different. So I see where you're coming from and what you're saying because that portable mortgage would have been so helpful with that.
Maybe. But the divorce situation, you're bringing up a caveat to it. If you've got two people and they're getting divorced, who gets to take that portable mortgage, right? So that's like,
I
let's
would
get
have
into it
taken
first.
it.
Let's yeah,
I
let's
know.
talk about the portable mortgage for a minute
Yes.
because let's get into that. But so what is a portable mortgage? So all of this to say that it's a way for you. And hi Nick, it's nice to meet you. Am I single? I am actually. So it's nice to dream, right? We've all been dreaming. Wouldn't it be great if we could keep our mortgage? Wouldn't it be great if we could stay at 3%? Well, that's what this portable mortgage idea is. And Trump said it. Now, let me say this first. It's already being done in Canada and the UK and I think a few other places. So this is not a pie in the sky, just he pulled it out of his, rear end kind of an idea. This is being done in other places in the world. Okay. What it essentially is, there's a couple different ways to look at it. One is let's use me as an example. Okay, the house I'm in right now, I think I owe like 200,000 on it, let's say. Okay. Let's say I'm going to sell my house and I'm going to downgrade a bit. Okay. So with this example, I sell my house, I have a $200,000 mortgage. I make $100,000 on it. Okay, so we're at 300,000, and I want to buy a $400,000 house. So I'm going to come to you, Cece, with cross country mortgage, and I'm going to need $100,000 mortgage. And again, I'm just making these simple numbers. I know this is not going to be perfect. So what this idea is that I would be able to port my $200,000 mortgage over to you at cross country. Cross country would then do all of the work, and we'll talk about that later. How it's a lot of red tape. They would take that mortgage, and then I still need $100,000 more. So they would be one of two things. It would either be two mortgages, a first and a second, both with the same company though. I would keep my 3% with the 200,000, and I would get this new 100,000 at, I would say, whatever, let's say 6.5% or whatever it is, right? Okay. So now that's what it looks like. I have a first and I have a second. Or what they could do is they could smash it together into a $300,000 mortgage, but they would blend the rate. So if I'm at a three and this is a six, it might look like something like a four and a half for 300,000. Again, I'm using girl math right now to make it easy for everybody. There are different options of ways you could do that. But the point is coming to the table with a solution that will help people say, all right, I understand. Like even that blended mortgage, okay, 4.5%. I don't love it. I don't love it.
They
I don't
should
hate it. But coming from a 3%, like I'm like, oh, I'm giving that up. However, if I want to move,
if you want
like
the house,
if I want the house and I
get the
want to
house.
move, this is a way for me to do it without having 300,000 at 6.5%, right? Or wherever the rate is at. So it does, because the lion's share is that mortgage that I already have in the example I just gave. Now, there are other examples where if I wanted to be really frugal, okay, I have a $200,000 mortgage. I make 100,000 and I just basically want to buy a $300,000 house. Okay. Of course, there's other closing costs, but in that way, I would be looking to have a company that would basically move my mortgage over. It would probably be harder to do it that in that scenario. What I would suggest or think, I'd have to go back to whoever services it currently and ask them, hey, can you just pick up this mortgage and move it to this new property? Yes, you're going to have to do appraisals and all those things, but it would have to be the same company because there no other company's going to. It's not going to benefit them probably in that way. So I don't know. That's just like my brain going, and there's so many things
Well,
with
and
this.
I just love the conversation of it. Now, as you said earlier, there's the red tape.
Mm,
Again, let's go back to Edison.
miles
A
of it.
thousand tries. It's good.
Yeah.
It may not even be a thing, but I love the idea we're discussing this and
Hmm.
getting it going. So
Yes.
using your example, that would be amazing. I would have loved that at my junction of time. But
Right.
even with that said, we're talking about solutions because right now it's it's challenging. We want people to move, and it's hard because what another chatter that I'm always hearing is, "I'm not happy in my house."
Hmm.
I mean, who here is stuck in a rate in a house that they actually want to move from? They're sick of the same bathroom. They're sick of the same kitchen. They want something new. They designed this whole kitchen, which I bet is beautiful, but it's no longer them. And they
Functioning.
want more of an
Hmm.
open concept, or they want a closed concept of a home. I'm hearing more people like the smaller homes. They don't want the bigger homes because of the electric bills
Upkeep.
are getting so much higher.
Yeah.
Where
It's a lot to clean.
well, that too.
Want to
And
clean it
so, I mean,
anymore.
but or going from small to big because your family's growing, whatever it may
Yes.
be, just having this conversation is really awesome,
Hmm.
along with the other conversations. Like the problem right now that we are facing, and this is the solutions that all of these ideas are coming out, and they sound wild, right? We all can concede that some of these seem wild, like the
I love
portable, the
wild. Let's
50, da
go.
da da da, and
We
new
need
things are
something new.
coming. Yeah, new ideas are coming out of the woodworks. At least we're talking about it. And that's the
Yes.
important thing. Our
Oh, for the love
communication,
of God.
talking like, here we are. Come on, Fed Daddy. Let's wrap this up.
They're
Can
thinking about it. There's an article by Realtor, and Realtor.com did an article that it's at Fed Daddy right now. It's at, well, the FHA. And the FHA, the Federal Housing Association, Fannie and Freddie are reviewing it and looking at it. So they're looking at it, and that does not mean they're going to say we're going to do it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. They may say the whole thing is just hogwash. We're not going to do it. But at least the conversation, like you just said, we've opened the door to say, we know where there's a will, there's a way. We've got some brilliant minds. Look at someone like Elon Musk. Say what you want about that guy. He's super weird, but he's going to be the first trillionaire. He did not get where he's at by people telling him no and by people telling him it can't be done. Oh no, you're not going to be able to get your space. What is the thing called? Space thing that he's doing? It's called,
SpaceX.
thank you. It's impossible. You're not going to get it done.
Mhm.
Like that probably fuels him. That's how I am. When someone says you can't do it, like that's the best motivator for me. It's
And
probably
he
not a good thing, but
gets
it
the
is.
idea out, like him or not like him, he gets the idea out and gives it to people who, what you're talking about, the innovation. They're
Yes.
not the ones in the nitty-gritty. Let's just have the conversation, let's get it out, and let's start working through the bugs. Now, the
Right.
moment that the portable mortgage idea came out, my wheels start turning in the mortgage industry going, how is this going to work logistically? Of course,
Mhm.
the naysay came like right out of my head. I'm like, whoa, whoa. And I get it because how mortgages are sold, and everybody has a mortgage sold at one point or another. It's rare if a bank holds on to that note for an extended time. Like credit unions, they hold on to it. But those
Right.
are few and far between. They hold their own note. Now, more so, credit unions are starting to sell their paperwork as well. So, but with that said, there's so much of the background of, is it going to be sold? What are the logistics? You know what? It doesn't matter right now. At least we're talking about it. And maybe in a couple of years, or someone is going to come out of nowhere and go, hey, this is how Canada did it. Hey, these A, B, and C countries have done it.
Right.
Let's see moving forward, because maybe we can't go backwards, but moving forward, what if we package our deals like this and we
Mhm.
could potentially have that
Right. Leave it
portable
open.
mortgage?
Right.
We can move forward thinking, and that growth thinking of, okay, how's it done? How can we readjust moving forward in this industry? The real estate industry is so interesting between property management, the rentals, the the selling of the real estate, the financing of the real estate. Those three things is such an interesting topic of why someone wants to rent and not purchase and not invest in themselves, or when they can or when they can't, because they haven't gotten organized with their thought process of how to get there. But again, it comes down to starting the conversation and having the term coined portable mortgage sounds great.
And here's
Now,
the
a
thing.
lot of red tape.
A ton of red tape, miles of it. But here's what I want to make clear because some people don't know this. We already have mortgages that can be assumed. So, what that means is if I have an FHA or a VA loan, those are government backed loans. Let's say I have an FHA loan and CC is a veteran or she gets an FHA loan, she can assume the mortgage that I currently have on that house. In my house, like I said, I have a $200,000 mortgage. If it was FHA, which it's not, she could assume that mortgage. Like there is a program for that. We don't see them done because again, more times than not, you don't have the cash to cover the rest of the purchase. If
Mhm.
I'm selling my house, let's say for 475,
You need the
then you need
275.
yeah, you need 275 cash or a secondary mortgage. And most of the secondary, they don't want to be second because again, what does that mean to them? It's lien holder rights. So
Mhm,
if you bought it and you lost your job and everything fell apart and your home was being foreclosed on, whatever they sell for, that first amount of the money is going back to that 200,000, right? Whoever that first
who
lien
holds
holder
that
is.
initial debt?
Second person gets what's left, and if you owe to the IRS, they always trump
Oh, they get
everybody.
it.
They get it
Yeah.
first if you had like back taxes. So that's the thing, you know that you're definitely second in line and you could be third. You don't know with a
The
person.
risk is higher. That's why
It
the rate
it's
is higher
Right.
for
And
a
that's why
second
they do, and that's
mortgage.
why a lot of people don't do them because they don't really want to be a second. So we don't see as many assumable mortgages happening. But the point I'm trying to make is it does exist, but it stays with the property, right? So that mortgage stays with the property. So even if they opened up something and allowed assumable mortgages, where I guess you couldn't take it with you, but if you were buying a home and they let you assume whatever mortgage is there, you know what I mean? Regardless of if it's FHA or VA or whatever it is, if they let you do that, that's even a thought. That would even help some people. Like, then the new thing would be when I market my house, hey, you can assume 3% mortgage over here, right? And you'd have all these terms, which would make people go, "Ooh, I want to look at that one." And
Mhm.
then me too. When I'm going to look at houses, I'm looking at where are the ones where I can assume, and I'd actually love if they have a higher mortgage on it, the higher the better, right? Because then more of that is secured with that
Mhm.
rate. So even that's an idea. It's that's already so the point is, let's be visionaries. Let's innovate a little bit. Let's have these powers that be. I love that Trump threw it out there because he's trying to open, I think he's just trying to have conversation and let people get out of their own way of the it can't be done. The first thing we do can't be done. What did they say, Cece? You talked about it last week for people who weren't with us with that 50-year mortgage. We talked extensively about it. You taught us that when the 30-year mortgage came out in the 30s, they loved it, right? It was their favorite thing ever.
It was so
They
a
hated it.
no-go.
They didn't
Nobody
even use it
like
for 10 years, right? They
it.
didn't even, "Oh, this is impossible to do," and now it's
Well,
standard.
who would want to go from a short-term loan, which is something that they only knew, to long-term? Now, as the history will show that you sell your house or refinance your house within 6 and 7 years, that was, prior to COVID.
Mhm.
Now,
How
post-COVID,
many years?
6, 7, 6, 7, we're moms. We're stuck with this for a while. It's that now that we're at that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, are of selling their house. So we're not
Mhm.
even in it for 15 years, where
No.
they were upset that they moved from 15 to a short-term loan, 10-year to 15 to 30, and a 50 just draw that out just a little bit more to save that money. So no, it's just getting the conversation going of we need a solution, like s- going back to the original conversation here, not a lot of people are moving just due to that they're flexing on that rate.
Yep.
And it's important to them that budget, not the house
Mhm.
that they're living in. Even though
Yes.
I know tons of women who are done decorating their house. They
You're
don't want to
right.
do it anymore. They
Mm-mm.
don't like it. They've
They
already
want new.
so what it is us women we're talking. Where do we start? The kitchen. Kitchen
Yes.
or the bathroom with renovations, right?
Yes,
So
for
you
sure.
start in the kitchen and you kind of go around the house and you renovate everything. Oh, maybe it's a basement because when you build or get
When you
into
have
a
kids,
home,
yeah, it's nice to
yeah,
have that
you kind
extra
of do the
space.
basement.
Yeah,
So
let them be down
besides,
there.
yeah,
Mhm.
make more of an area to live in. But besides the basement making more livable area, you really start that redesign of the kitchen because it's the funnest. It's the heart
Yeah.
of the home. That's for me. The kitchen's the
Yes.
heart of the home. There should be a dining room table. There should, I'm saying that specifically, but there should be stuff there for that heart. And we always start there. So we renovate the kitchen, we go through the rest of the house as we are living in the home. But then when you're done renovating, you're like, yeah, do you start back at the kitchen?
Oh, I know.
I know. And then
That's
now
the
you're
thing.
looking
It's
at the
so
kitchen.
expensive too. It's
Oh,
so expensive. Hi,
now
Snozback. Thanks for saying hi. Um, that's the thing. Like I look at it right now. If I wanted to, because if I'm going to stay here, I need to start doing exactly what you're saying. But I know how much money it is to do that. It would be easier to sell and move. Well, it wouldn't be because it's a big ordeal to move. But like all the money I'd have to spend to do the kitchen, I want to redo all the flooring. I'd keep the cabinets, but I would want to maybe paint them or do something. All new
mhm.
countertops. All three bathrooms need to be redone. I mean, the kids' bathroom upstairs, it's embarrassing. I don't want anyone to ever see it. But it's just, you know what I mean? This house has been loved
Yeah.
and
Oh, I get
lived
it.
in and loved. And the people before me that lived here, God bless them, they beat it, right? So we had to do a lot of work just to get it like the way I
Very
was
lived
happy with.
in.
Right. So and now it's still like the bathroom. I just didn't have the ability to do it yet, but now I'm like, I've got to do it
'Cause
because
you
when
know
I do
you're
go
gonna
sell it
sell
someday.
eventually. So, but that rehab, that's where the mothers, the wives would get together. There's a group of us that get together, about 7 of us, and that was the topic of conversation is, okay, one's redoing her dining room because that was a kid room. They have that
Yes.
offshoot dining room when you
Yeah.
walk into the
That
front
a
door,
lot
it's
of
on the
people did
left,
that.
right?
I did that too. I did
Yeah,
that too when the
and
kids
it
were
was
little.
a
I had that.
they made it into that. Now she's like the kids are older, her youngest,
Mhm.
I believe, is now 12. They're not banging shit up like they used to, and they're
Mhm.
redoing it, but they're kinda over their home now. They want a new one, they want a new vibe, they want a new look,
Right.
they want a kitchen facing, now your daughter said this, and it kinda stuck with me for, like, ever, Julia, how the sun doesn't hit the kitchen the right way.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Well, because
"What does
she
that
makes her
matter?"
living on angles and lighting
Yeah, and it
and
didn't
content. That's
dawn
why
on
she moved
me.
out. "Mom, your house isn't good for content." And I know it isn't.
Well,
I know it
not
isn't.
for
I'm in this
content,
room because
but
this room I had to create light just to be able
ju
to do this.
just to have that vibe and
Yeah,
change it. So that always kinda stuck in my head, right? And so
it's
with
true.
this portable mortgage or the idea of a 50-year or to offset the cost and that interest rate because the interest rates aren't coming down, but that's what this is. This is to offset the interest rates, which
Mhm.
again, that communication because the housewives, they work, don't get me wrong, but us, we're just kind of bored and we
Yeah.
want something new. However, we're flexing this interest rate and we're stuck.
Well, and it's
It,
not even just that you're bored. What I find after COVID, do you remember people how I was actually interviewed and I was in the newspaper. I was one of the real estate agents that got to talk about it for Macomb County. They interviewed me, and I forget her name, but it was in the whatever it was in the free press or whatever it was. But they were talking, asking us, how did people's lives change post COVID and how they live? And I had a ton to say on the topic. And it's everything that we've talked about, and also the fact that so many people were working from home and they realized, oh my gosh, my house is not conducive to that. I have little kids, I don't have a room to go to, I don't even have an office. So they were like creating little makeshift scenarios, like these little like just like a little like alcove like became a work desk, and somehow they were closing it off. I mean, it was crazy stuff just to get some privacy to be able to work. So
mhm.
post COVID, one thing you already hit on was the divorce rate. People realize I don't want to be stuck with this person ever again, right? So that right there was a big change. I can't do life with this person anymore. They drive me crazy, and I made that decision during COVID. Or I have to work from home now, or I get to work from home now. I need a dedicated space for this, right? And then just all there was so many things that we talked about. The backyard, hey, if I'm stuck here, I need to make my own little perfect backyard and oasis. What about walkability? If I'm stuck in this area, I want to be able to walk trails. I want to have biking nearby so that I can actually, okay, live my life and have this lifestyle if I'm stuck in this area, kind of a thing. Everybody's mind was starting to say, what do I really want? And they were that's why I think another reason in 2021 we had the boom. So many people realized I got to change this house. It's not conducive to what I want. Now the rate has come down. It was the perfect storm and we were super busy. So much business was happening. Well, now it's the same thing. Change of life. You get to a stage your kids are adults, or and you're like, I don't need this much square footage, or I just don't like the way it's allocated, the square footage, or I just want to be able to wake up, drink my coffee, like you said, I want a solarium, I want this beautiful room that I can sit in and feel
I want the
just
sunshine to
happy.
come through this type of a window.
Exactly. Or want to sit
Something
outside and
easy,
not have my neighbors staring at me, or I
right?
want a condo because I don't want to do the work outside
Neighbor
anymore.
staring
I
at you.
don't, and I don't want to rake leaves, and I don't. Yeah, so it's like we just change. I'm thankful that I don't have that issue in my. I have both neighbors on both sides are fantastic. Nobody stares at anybody. Everybody minds their own business. We have a
Mhm,
very nice mind your own business street, which I'm obsessed with. I'm
that's nice.
obsessed with that. I don't want anybody bothering me. It's not bothering though. It's like I'll say hi, they'll say hi. I know they got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. We're cool. Keep it going. You know what I mean? Like I have friends, you have friends. We're good. We don't need to sit and have coffee. Like I want to go in my house now. I'm home. I just want to be home. That's me. As outgoing as I am, I'm not like that. Like I never know what's going on in the neighborhood. I don't pay attention. Someone has to tell me. I run the Facebook page though, so sometimes that's how I get my news. But I'm in my own
That's how you
world.
get your daily tea.
Well, yeah, and I'm like, it's not my lane. Like, I'm not going to be up in anybody's business. I just whatever, unless there was a house that burned down in or something. I mean, that got my attention.
Mm,
But other than that, yeah, very sad. But other than that, you know, again, and that's a big reason why people move. They hate their neighbors. That can be contentious, where they're always calling on them, or they're doing crazy things, or they have the tree. good Lord, the trees. The tree branch that's going over that technically the tree belongs to the neighbor, but the branch is over into your yard and it's dropping all of its
Oh my
disgust.
gosh, my brother is having that issue
It's a
right
problem.
now, and that bad boy is leaning. If anybody knows, think of a cute downtown area, it's called, Royal Oak. They have some Royal Oak, tons of these oak trees, beautiful, huge trees. It's all trees and then homes. The newer build cities, it's all home and no trees, so it's a trade-off, but the neighbors tree is, like, encroaching over, and
It
it's
is.
huge.
It's a
It's
huge
right over
problem.
his garage. Now,
Oh,
I
that's
don't
a
know what's so
problem.
bad. Like, he's actually pulled out his he had a boat in there, he pulled it out just in case, because when it gets windy, it's starting to die, and she already knows about this. She needs to actually cut the branches down. She
Right.
won't. She'd rather drop on his
Yeah,
garage
that's a
and
huge
deal with
legal
it later.
situation with people because like if that tree falls on his
Garage.
garage, homeowners is going to go, well, technically it's that home, so that home's tree. I don't know how that would all go down. I just know that it's a mess. So like,
Mhm.
and I know people will cut it. They'll just go up there and they'll cut it themselves. Be like, you know what? It's in my yard. It's mine, but it's not technically your tree. Anyways, we could talk all day about trees. Point being, neighbors, right? Sometimes you don't want to live next to this person anymore. So you're looking for a way out of your three. You want to keep your 3%, but you're looking at this like, okay, port my freaking mortgage and get me out of here because the next door neighbor's making me crazy. Like there's so many people that this would benefit, and it would open up inventory. But yes, would the powers that be have to get off their butts and get a little innovative and stop being so lazy and redo some things? Yes, they would. And they're worried about their money, is what they're worried about. They're worried about the
They are.
fact that this is how it's done and
Mhm.
and that's the thing. It's like, well, you got to understand that we don't have houses for people and the affordability factor. And if we opened up more inventory and people could move, it would change some things. It would help a lot. It would help a lot. So yeah, that's my TED talk
Yeah,
on
let's
that.
keep talking about it because, again, if you keep talking, things will start moving. Maybe it's not gonna be the portable mortgage. Maybe out of this conversation, we come up with something different that's
Mhm.
even better.
I
But
love that.
just start the conversation and go,
Yes.
"Okay, that's kinda nice." Now, to hold out for it, I don't think that would be wise. It's nothing that's going to happen immediately right now. Again, the naysayers are out there, and I get why, and the back end deal. But again, let's talk about solutions to the housing and individuals needing to purchase a home, move out of their home that isn't just due to divorce or because they get relocated or whatever the excuse may be, actually want to move to a place that they want to love is going to
Mhm.
be key factor. So love the place and move because you love that new home.
Absolutely. Our whole goal is just to help people get where they want to go, whether it's a financial plan that they need to make or, looking at life situations and getting strategic to something like this where this is a big topic where we do need for the big powers up there to change some things. But yeah, we that's what we're here for. Like we're looking at every opportunity, open every door, crack every window, and how can we make this happen? And I love how you've always said you don't say no. It's not no, it's not if, it's when, and you
Mhm.
you make a plan with people. Like okay, I can't pre-approve you right now because your credit's in the gutter, right? Let's be real here. However, X, Y, and Z will happen, and in this much time, we can accomplish it if you do the things I'm going to tell you to do.
And the affordability of a house, what it really costs to even to be able to afford it on a monthly payment, as well as a down payment, and what that looks like. So
Yes.
there's quite a few things that go into it. Have that conversation. Get there because affordability now, again, going back to the age, is looking like a little bit older. 27, 28, 29 is really first time home buyers. The age is increasing. I don't want that. I
It's
want you to come to
40.
me.
I looked it up. The
Now,
average home buyer, a first-time home buyer, is 40 years old. Someone sent
yeah,
it to me. I didn't believe it. I looked
it's
it
in
up and
that
it's I'm
bracket.
like, this is
Now,
crazy.
how much is skewed because of divorce though? Because
That's a
technically,
really good point. Somebody needs to find that data point out
yes.
because they do
So when
let
you
you first-time
click
home
that
buyer.
first time home buyer, is it due to divorce? I actually would like to see that statistic,
We need
the
that statistic
split.
broken down.
Just out of
Yeah,
curiosity, if
we need
that's
it.
skewing it. Because of course, the families that I help, and you and I personally have helped quite a few individuals, the husband and the wife go
Mhm.
their separate ways. And they
Right,
both I get to click for both because of the divorce decree, first time home buyer, to help with that interest rate. Because first time home buyers, they have that slight break. They have that break in the mortgage insurance, MI, or you can call it PMI, either or. And that is important to help with that next purchase
yes.
after selling the marital home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be curious because when we
That's
start
such a
talking about
great
that
I didn't even think of
bracket,
that. That's
yeah,
brilliant. We need to know that. So really quickly, I know we only have probably like 10 minutes or that. I don't think we need more than 10 minutes, but I don't know if we wanted to also so real estate news again, it just seems like it just keeps coming the things and the we're good at bobbing and weaving and like figuring things out and people are moving and this conglomerate's buying all these brokerages and Zillow's getting sued three different ways, literally three different ways, and just all the things that are going on. And
NAR's
now,
losing control,
now this is the thing. NAR is losing,
National Realtor Association. That's
and
huge. And
you
they were
can
part of
see
that
it
big
coming.
lawsuit. I
You could
know.
see it coming. The whole thing with NAR, and I'll let you talk more about it because I know you've researched it a lot. But NAR is just the National Association of Realtors. Their job is supposed to be to keep the interests of the real estate industry as a priority in when they're going to when we're looking at getting things on bills and when they're lobbying to the federal
For
government or state government.
regulation,
Yes,
guidelines, procedures, keeping everybody in the same box and making everybody, oh, not, I hate to say the word everybody, but elevating the industry and
yes.
keeping it consistent and
Hmm.
fair and having the lobbyists communicate. Now, the first time I'll share this with you, it was pretty cool. The first time that I even heard about anything in the real estate industry, I was in property management. That's where I spent about 15 years of my career in. And I absolutely love property management. Talk to me about landlord tenant issues. Do I have stories? Just like real estate.
Sure you
But
do.
what was really cool is how you can serve notices and how with the times how that has blended in. You don't have to physically serve somebody. Emailing is now efficient. And
Okay.
this and hearing them lobby for it, it was a local politician who really took a step forward discussing security deposits and how important it was for security deposits to be in a bank
Hmm.
and held differently from a different account to
Right.
ensure people can get their money back.
Hmm.
That
But
was
they
huge. It was my
didn't
first
use it
time.
for their
Well,
budgeting. Yeah.
exactly. Like, this is protected money. This is my security deposit. I want it back. But all of a sudden, that landlord spent it or an emergency happened. So, getting control and regulating industries, there is that solitude that comes with it. So that was my first time ever going, wow, that's that's important. That's
Yeah.
important to get that out there. That's important to have this done. Squatting rights, stuff like that. So now that we're in within NAR and how they are protecting, and that's one of the purposes. There's many things for NAR, but you have to
Hmm.
pay into it as a real estate agent.
Yes, you
I
do.
don't pay into it as a lender. We have nothing to do with it. This is more your area and how they speak for the industry. That last lawsuit was pretty painful. Everybody heard it. Things got rattled. It was coming, and bam, it's here. Now you have to disclose commission, not disclose commission. You can't talk about certain things. So to me, I feel like some of the transparency went away.
Gone.
Just I
They just covered their butts. They don't want to get sued again. They made our job so much harder. This year has been. I've seen
It's
some
been interesting. It's
bad
been
business has
interesting
happened.
from my perspective because
Mhm,
I'm spoiled. I'm on the Women's Council of Realtors. I'm part of actively going to meetings of the local boards in the real estate industry. I stay pretty consistent within the community and having these open discussions. And I'm so used to elevated real estate agents and elevated loan officers where I'm having these conversations and I forget the ones that don't until they come
mhm,
into our transaction, smack us, and we're like,
right,
"Oh,
yes,
that's why NAR did what they did." I forget because
right,
I'm at a higher level and the individuals I work with and I partner with are higher caliber of real estate agents.
right.
So I forget that in Ohio, they don't. Some Ohio agents, I had to deal with one, didn't move quickly at all. Oh, I'll get to that. That's what I heard. I'm like, no, no. On your purchase agreement, it states the closing date is this date. That's the
Mhm.
end of your contract. Nobody pays attention to that.
Really? That's how they do it
The
now?
seller needs to pay attention to that. The buyer needs to pay attention to that.
Yeah,
So
it's
with NAR
legal.
coming in and saying you can't do this, you can do this, there's pros and there's cons. You may not always agree with it, but it's there for the structure.
Mhm.
And now within the last couple days, NAR is the article I wrote is from realtor.com. You actually you cited that as well. Within realtor.com, they were talking about how you don't have to be part of NAR, which how you have to pay into
To be a realtor.
to
So
be a
that's the thing.
realtor.
If you're a real estate
Yes.
agent, but if you're a realtor, they was like realtor. I hate when they say it. It's
Realtor.
realtor. It's just realtor. It's not realtor. It's not real. It's not three syllables. It's just realtor.
Realtor.
Realtor, not realtor. Like, so that's the whole thing. To be a
Yes.
realtor, you have to be part of NOR. And that's the little R with the little trademark on it.
Circle, yes.
That means that you are basically held to a higher standard because you're part of the National Association of Realtors. Realtors. Okay. Did I say that
Yes.
enough
And
times?
so being within this community, a lot of the people I work with are, and it's good. But now that they've come out saying you don't have to be a member
Mm-hmm.
of NAR or be a realtor to be
Realtor.
part of that, and then and also tied to the MLS, you
Yeah, to
had
have
to
MLS
pay.
access, you don't have to be with
Y-
NAR to get access to the
yes,
MLS.
but
You
that's what
still have to
changed.
be a realtor, you still have to be part of NAR, but
Correct, but they
you can
tied the
get
2
MLS
together,
access.
from my understanding, now that I know this is more in your wheelhouse, but from my understanding, now they've separated the 2, you don't have to be a member of NAR to have access to the MLS, which is huge because
That's tricky.
that's
That's gonna be
going
tricky.
to be an interesting topic, and again,
Yes.
you're gonna hear us we're touching on a whole bunch of key in the industry. We're going to keep touching on this because I know we're about to hit our mark, but kind of listen for that. Hit the subscribe button so you get notified when we go live. Sometimes we go live at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. It depends on what's happening in our industry. It's our industry. We get busy, we get crazy, closings, things go sideways, up, down, left, right. You know, so keep with us. Come back and see us. Click those buttons, hear us, because we're going to keep talking about this. We can't go that in
Mhm.
depth in a conversation as it's unfolding. This is unfolding. The
Yeah,
portable
it's
mortgage,
happening
it's
right now.
unfolding. The lawsuits of Zillow is unfolding. The talk about NAR and the MLS, that's unfolding. How is this all going to shake out? And there's so much more stuff that we can encompass. Um, and their acquisitions of all of the Century 21, Sotheby's, everything is starting to
And their
really kinda
lawsuit too.
mold.
They got a lawsuit too.
Oh.
Well, they're with Zillow about
Yeah.
Zillow doesn't want them to do what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they don't want Zillow to keep them from having their listings on Zillow. So that's one of the Yeah, one of the
You
lawsuits.
know, it's all about the control.
Zillow's
So
got
just
their legal department. They're just working 9 to 5 lately. They're just
AI is not gonna
all
be replacing
day,
those
all day
those
long.
attorneys anytime soon. But just
No, they're
stick with us.
busy.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
stick with us. We're going to keep touching on this because it's evolving, it's changing, it's the nuances that we're going to be finding out through the next couple months. It's going to be quite interesting to see what's going to happen and how these conversations are going to form the real estate industry moving
Yep.
forward in 2027. Because I think 2026 is going to be very, very pivotal point.
I agree.
Pivot, pivot. Hold on, people,
Pivot.
friends, comment.
Ross
I
Geller on the couch. That will
oh my
always go
gosh,
down in history.
pivot. But how I
Pivot.
2026 is gonna be interesting for real
Oh,
estate.
yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to the shakeup and people moving and starting new, and I feel like every year we're getting healthier within the industry. We just have some nuances that we get to shake out, and it'll lead us into 2027 and re-regulating the industry.
Yes. Well, and balancing out. We're in a balancing right now, and there's so many things that are happening that will, like Cece said, we could talk all day, but we can't. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining us and for being here. And if you want to know when we're live, it's typically Tuesdays, like she said, are 10 or 11 Eastern. But if you tap the bell for notifications, you'll always get notified and you'll know that we're live. Also, go back, especially last week's, if you came in late and you're wondering about that 50-year mortgage, we only alluded to it. We really covered that hardcore last week. So feel free to go watch that, and then send me, you can't really DM here, so you can just comment underneath. Just let us know if you have questions or things you'd like for us to cover next week or in future weeks, because that's a lot of what we want to do too, is we want to know what questions people have so that we're bringing the best information, because we love to educate. We want to tell you what's going on in the hot topics and what's going on in the market, but also educate and help
Yeah.
people to make great decisions so everyone can have the gift of home ownership, start that wealth
Yes.
profile.
Yes.
Thank you, Cece, for joining me again. And we will
Always.
see you guys next Tuesday. Everybody have a blessed week.
Bye.